Hi everyone, I am Sanskriti Pokharel, Information and Publication Officer, and we are back again with our brand new interview. And this time we have Katherine G Silva with us. She is an intern architect for Accessibility 2024-2025, and I'm so excited to have a conversation with her. So, Catherine, can you introduce yourself to our audiences and highlight your educational involvement and also your involvement with things that
Okay. Okay. Hello, my name is Katherine G Silva. I'm from La Paz, Bolivia, South America, and I have completed my studies in my city as an architect. Then I moved to Spain to continue my studies with my master degree. So right now I'm also doing this my thesis about this project related with Change for Change. And what we were doing here in the project is to see how the buildings can be more accessible for blind persons. Mhm.
And after traveling to Spain and Germany, you have come to Nepal. And belonging from a South American country, Bolivia, how do you feel and how different is Nepal from your country, Bolivia, and other European countries?
Okay, so let's say, ladies, we're going to compare first my city and then Europe. So there's a huge difference in how looks the landscape, how looks the buildings, the culture. You know, it has a big difference. And comparing my city to Nepal, it's let's say like it's a little bit more close, like how it looks. For example, like the landscape, the mountains are very similar. No, in this part, we can different kind of. Mhm.
So, an architect by profession, how different do you feel in architectural aspect like religious and cultural heritages of Nepal in comparison to your country, Bolivia, and some European countries?
Okay, so yeah, it's a huge difference. That, for example, the religions buildings are very different from my city. It has a different style and construction. Um, let's say like my city and Europe, for example, the churches, they look very pretty similar. Um, but we also have many differences in the buildings. No, we have a lot of my city different kind of um, native constructions, and they are very important also as a heritage. But I think the most differences it's also like the how the how the style looks like from each country. No, so I think the all the culture is reflected in their buildings also. No, and how the materials you can see around these each cities, it also contributes to this.
You have been to many places in Kathmandu by this time, either by walking in the streets or with public transportation. How accessible do you think Kathmandu's public places and transportation system are for persons with visual disability?
Okay, so let's divide it in these parts. So first, in the city, I think it's kind of difficult to navigate um, because you don't have side pathwalks, and this is very important, no, to feel the blind people safe, and also the protective floor. We can see this protective floor in some places of Kathmandu, but in other places you can see, no. So also some parts of the city you can find some holes. So these kind of things it makes more not easy, no, to walk. And the accessibility, let's say in the transportation, I saw that now is getting better. I saw that the implementation of these buses that they promote to be more accessible, not only for blind person, but also for, let's say, for the girls that they have waiting for a baby, for old people. No, I think this is getting better now. Mhm.
I am curious to know what was your reason for coming to Nepal and what inspired you to work in Project Wings to Dream?
Mhm. Well, there are many reasons. I saw and I read the how the project was about, and I really was inspired with this. And the thing is, what like you like as an architect, uh, right now I can work like in designing part, no, but I feel like this project it has more impact, not only as myself, like as an architect. I think it will have more impact for all the persons that are related with the project. So that was the principal thing that I choose this project. And yeah, to come to Nepal, I never imagined this, but it happened, and I love to be here in Nepal.
So, how was your experience of designing 3D maquettes, a miniature 3D model of what's in your school?
Like before doing this 3D model, I already work with many different models in different scale of the buildings. And this time, yeah, like at first, like it's 4 steps, no, but we started with measure all the building because we didn't have plans. Then I started to do the 3D model, and yeah, you can see how it's detailed and how all the differences that has from each area like this. And it was yeah, it was a challenge to do it like in very short time, but it was a really good experience to reflect all this building in a 3D model. Mhm.
What do you think are the key considerations when creating a 3D model of a school, college, or public space to make it accessible?
So to reflect these 3D models and to get more accessible, I think the important thing is the scale of the model, um, because we have different kind of details to add in the model, and we have to see if all these details of these objects can fit in one model, and also it should be like it should be in a proper size, so the people could the students or the people can uh, have this tactile experience in the model, not very freely and very let's say in a Mm, yeah, let's say very freely in this part, because if we do in a 3D model that is very little, they are not going to have this experience like to see how the building is or how the details are there. It will be it will be very will not be very understandable. Mhm.
3D tactile floor maps and 3D models of the buildings, and also carried out workshops with persons with visual disability. So, which among them is highly preferred and why?
Mhm. Okay, so we saw a very huge difference in the 3D model and the 2D tactile map. As we saw in the workshop, they prefer the 3D model because they like to see how are the shape of the buildings, like the height, the different type of levels of the ground, and I think it's more. It helps more to to the navigation and the orientation for where they are, or the building that they wanted mm, to experiment. And let's say that the 2D tactile map, it has more information because it shows like the exterior and in the interior parts. So it has more information, and we have to be very careful doing this because as it has a lot of information, we have to detail every part. Mhm.
So, Intern Architect for Accessibility 2023-2024, Valeria Muller had developed an accessible signboards which contains tactile safe, well labelings, and QR code that provide guided audio description using our Chain for Change app. Later, you had also improved some aspects and contributed to its expansion. How effective do you find it?
So the use of the signboards are very important. It contributes to the navigation and orientation for blind students, and all the design that was previously do it with Valeria, it was very helpful. And now with the workshop that we tested, that how they can experiment these signboards. We have very good feedback, and we could, let's say, like get better the signboards. And I think it has a lot of tools. So these all tools with the application of Change for Change, it helps a lot to the students to navigate and to see where they are. And for now, we saw that they were in some areas, and the students say that it would be better if we expand to many areas so they can feel that where they are, what places, and all these details. Mm-hmm.
Xavier's College now has a 3D maqueta model, and it also recently installed the Braille signboards, and it also has potted pavements, tactile pavements. So, how accessible is St. Xavier's College for students with visual disabilities, and what improvements would you suggest to make it more accessible and inclusive?
Mm-hmm. I continue. We don't stop. Okay. So yeah, let's say like in the exterior area of St. Jevers, we have this tactile floor, and yeah, I think it's very useful and to navigate around this area. But also we need to have this tactile floor like inside the building, so it could also help to navigate in the interior spaces, no? And this is for one part. Also, like the signboard that they were working before, this is another tool to support how can be more accessible a building. No, this is another part, because this helps to the orientation and the navigation, and the students can move freely with this tool. Um, Also, it's important to see about what kind of barriers you can find in the path. So let's say there are some barriers that we can't move, and other barriers that yes we can move. But as we can warning these kind of barriers that we can move, it's also good for the accessibility. And let's say like we can have these safe paths for blind students will be very helpful to reach, let's say, to the exterior and the interior areas. Mm-hmm.
Catherine, now we have a few fun questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
And you have to answer it very fast.
Okay, nice.
Okay. So, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Momos or dal bhat?
Dal bhat.
Okay. And favorite place in Kathmandu?
Pokhara. In Kathmandu?
Yeah.
Temple, Shiva temple.
Okay. And one word to describe Kathmandu's vibe?
Um, uh, Chaotic.
Mm-hmm. And if you weren't an architect, what would you be?
Word?
What if you were not an architect? What would you be?
An artist. Mm-hmm.
A Nepali word you use the most?
Tiksa.
So now, okay, now imagine you are tasked with redesigning a famous spot in Kathmandu. Okay, now you have to imagine that you have to redesign a famous spot in Kathmandu. So what would it be, and what change would you make?
Famous sporting?
A spot,
Okay.
like a famous place in Kathmandu.
Uh,
So what would it be, and what change would you make?
Famous spot. Like a new design, or you mean like already?
Okay, so the existing places in
Existing places.
yeah. So if you have to redesign one among them, which place it would be?
Um, mm, let's say like in some temple, in a temple that we can find, we can redesign the how the accessibility could be, like um, to get more friendly for old people, kids, and all the let's say blind persons or people that they can have like not too much movement of their body. No, like yeah, we could uh, have these extra things on these public spaces. Mhm.
Now we are back to serious question again.
Mhm.
So, you know, Nomina Amachindra Secondary School, as part of the emergency school reconstruction project, supported by the government of Japan, has incorporated features like reduced steps, braille blocks, and handrails to enhance accessibility for students with visual disabilities. So, based on your visit to the school, do you think these features have significantly improved navigation for the students? And what further enhancement would you recommend to make the school environment more inclusive and user friendly?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, we saw that Namuna Machindra school has these different kind of tools that they already are built there, and they are very useful for the accessibility part. I saw that it helps a lot. Uh, but for this is for one part, no, and for another part that what things could be we can improve there. I think the accessibility is not. It's good to have this kind of tools, but also accessibility could help, for example, to the orientation part. So let's say the kids can go around, they know very well the spaces, but in some moments they don't know like what kind of space they are. No, they can see, they can know how the path is, but they don't know what area they are. And to support this, let's say we can improve in the navigation part, like same as St. Jevers with the signboards, with the 3D model maqueta that is very helpful to improve the navigation. And also it's important the maintenance of the buildings. No, we know that it's like around 10 years around that they already built this school, but now we can see that they are not maintained well. So this is also a huge problem in all the buildings. Mhm.
Nomada Secondary School, Logan Hill, and Laboratory School. Principal, where around 40 to 50 students with visual disabilities to study in an inclusive environment. So, what are the architectural differences did you see between Nomada Secondary School and Laboratory School concerning accessibility?
Mm. Okay, so the first difference is the scale of the schools. Namona Machindra is a, let's say, a small scale, and laboratory is a big scale school. So let's say Namuna Machindra is kind of new school, so it's more actualized with these tools. For example, the productive floor, the handrail, ramps, no. And the laboratory school, we can find this type of tools because it's more older, no. And let's see that in one school they have these tools, but we can implement these kind of tools to the other school, and yeah, and it has a very huge difference the scale also, no, because you have to, in laboratory school is bigger, so you have to plan very well all the accessibility, like all these kind of characteristics, more detailed and more focused.
Carried out works of for students with for persons with visual disabilities at Nongura Matsingre School and Laboratory School and also at St. Xavier's College. So based on your works of findings, what do students with visual disabilities prefer in terms of accessibility in schools and other educational institutions?
Okay. I saw that this characteristic in both spaces is the 3D models that they like a lot, because they can know how the building is, what kind of size, how high is it. So this this tool, the 3D models, are very helpful. Um, Also, we can implement the 2D tactile map, like so. Also, they can see how the interior spaces could be. The difference with the 3D map and the tactile map is that the 3D model, sorry, it's you can see only the exterior spaces and how the shapes are the buildings. And the 2D map, you see more the interior spaces, and it has a lot of more information, but it's very helpful for them. Um, let's say in St. Jevers, as we had the workshop with the signboards, and the students like a lot because they can navigate freely with the application and with their cell phones. And I think this is very helpful for them, so they can move by themselves. And this tool, I think it should be implemented not only in the educational areas, but also in all the city. Mhm.
What are the challenges do you see in making public and tourist spaces accessible for all in Nepal?
Okay, so I think the first challenge is to see if the building is a heritage building. So if with this heritage building, like as it is protected, you have to be very careful if you want to add some things that could for the help for the accessibility. And yeah, let's say like in these heritage buildings, but in the public spaces, I think it will be more easier um, to include the accessibility parts like tactile floors or tile walks. Um, I know that it's in the city and it's a huge scale, uh, but you can start like from areas, no? As it's as it's right now the city, you can see in some areas this kind of change. So yeah, I think it's this kind of difference, no? Like if you have a building, it's more focused, and the intervention you have to see this if it's a heritage, or if it's not a heritage, it would be more easier to implement some kind of intervention. And yeah, and let's say if it's the city, it will be a little bit more difficult because of the scale.
What specific improvements do you think can be made to enhance accessibility in Kathmandu's public infrastructure?
So, as we're talking about, right now they have some improves in some parts of the city, as the tactile floor, the sidewalks, and these are very good improvement. And it should be better, like if we can find this in all the areas of the city, no. And also we can say like the traffic light also we can improve in this part, like with a sound that means like if you can walk or you can or you have to stop. Um, Also, the if you have a change of level in the ground, you can add ramps. Um, yeah, maybe some signalizations that can be spoken and heard. Like if you get lost, you can let's say some checkpoints that you can find there, and where you are, and what places that are around near this area. Mm-hmm.
What differences do you see in Catherine before 27th August 2024 and today?
Yeah. I think it's a huge difference. Like I think that we are continuing developing ourselves, and to come here to Nepal, it makes me a huge difference. Like I see and learn and learn from the people that they were around me, and I learn a lot in, let's say, in the personal way and also in my professional part. No, I think in these both areas I learn a lot, and I'm very happy that this change was like happened. And yeah, I think this starting this new year will be continuously changing. Yeah.
And what personal growth have you experienced while working on Project Wings to Dream?
Mm, I think the to work in group, it helps me to change this part, because if you do one kind of thing with the project, I saw that you have to share this, and you have to hear about the uh, opinions, and we can learn together and make the things let's say easier, and also it contributes a lot the opinion of everybody. Yeah.
And what do you like to say, or give a message for someone who will be traveling just like you in Nepal?
So I recommend that they can come here to be part of this project. It's it's a very beautiful project that they are doing here, and to be part of this, it's a fulfill of your heart, and also like personal, uh, in your personal part, but also in your professional part. Like you can make a lot of things, and you can contribute, and it's both sides. Like um, you can learn from everybody, and like this, so it's a very beautiful place and good project to come here.
So, do you have any message to Chenko James, Sanjay College, Nightingale, and Expedition Solidaria, and also Universidad Politécnica de Valencia?
Yeah, I'm very grateful that this happens, and it's not only this project that is alone, so they are all together working, and I'm very happy, and I think that I have a very personal growth and professional growth. So I'm very grateful for this kind of project that they are doing, and yeah, we are helping each other.
Nice talking to you, Catherine, and you. I also learned a lot from you, and thank you so much for giving us time. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sanskriti, and also St. Javier's College, Namuna Machindra, um, and all the UPB Expedición Solidaria for this interview that could happen. And yeah, thank you for this interview that we can share many things.